Welcome back to PLB After Hours. I'm Matthew Timler, CEO and owner of Plug Lightbulb Electrical Services, and this is...
Christopher Rankin, head of the residential department.
So, Chris, you came to us. Why?
The long or the short version? Let's try to time
Let's
both
do a
together.
medium version.
We'll do a medium version. So my daughter moved here from Colorado and chose this area. She's a nurse, and she just recently had twin baby daughters, and that makes me a grandpa. So I made a life choice to, follow my family up here because, Christmas by yourself sucks. So that's what brought me to the area. Were you thinking about here as in the company or the area?
That's fine.
Okay.
But now the company.
The company. Well, this is a kind of a weird thing. I was interviewing all over the area, and PLB came up in my, list of things I should go attack. And I looked at it, I was like, okay. I saw the website and I was like, wow, it's really pink. I'm like, I like pink. Pink's cool. So, I called in and talked to, I think it was Heather the first time I talked to, and she said, yeah, come in, drop your resume off. And then once I had my interview with you, that just pretty much sealed the deal. It tossed everything else aside. I interviewed with, everybody else. It just seemed basic. But when I interviewed with PLB, Mr. Timler here, I felt you were genuine right off the bat. With everything you had to say and explaining the procedures and how you operate with core values is something I've wanted to achieve with my own company. So, and you were already doing it and, neck deep into it. So I was like, yeah, I definitely want to be a part of that. So that's kind of what made my decision to come to PLB.
Well, that means a lot that I could trick you into bringing you.
I know.
No.
Yeah.
So, you are our solar expert, virtually. That's like, we come to you for all things solar. You're our solar guy.
Yep.
Why?
I become passionate about it because I've done residential, I've done commercial, I've done industrial, I've done all the electrical avenues. The one thing about solar is it helps the customer so much. Like, I can put an outlet in your kitchen. I can put some can lights in your living room. But when I can get and put solar on your house, I can literally give you residual income back in your pocket. Like, what isn't cool about that? Having a perfect layout for lighting is great because you can come home and look at it and everything's perfect, and the homeowner just loves it and they can dim it down. But when they open their utility bill every month, I mean, that's a monthly thing. Every time they're going to be saving money. That's like the only thing you can do to your house that can literally give you ROI from the day you put it on in solar. You can remodel your deck. You could add an addition. You could spend $80K in your kitchen. You're still not going to get that revenue back until you sell the house. But when you put solar on, you're instantly getting ROI. So, I mean, that's what makes me so passionate about it. And it's just stupid not to do solar. If you really know it like I do and see it and all the incentives that's for it, it's a no-brainer, So I'm really passionate. Really passionate.
Yeah, you really are. Your first week that you started, he went in the back and he grabbed a board and he said, hey, I see there's some stuff on this. Can I use this? And I was like,
no.
Oh.
I said, I'm getting rid of all this. Is this okay? What are you doing with it?
Yeah.
Solar stuff. Yep.
And he spent time after work and during work, and he all of a sudden created an entire solar board where on one side it's the solar panel. It's showing you how to mount it to the system. He wanted to train and empower people. And on the back side, it has the inverter, it has the disconnect, it has the meter, it has the panel, it has everything, the controller has everything that you need for that solar system on there. And I just watch how passionate this guy gets about it when he talks about it. I can poke and prod and be like, oh yeah, solar's kind of sucks. And then it's an instant ignition of this guy.
Yeah, he knows how to push my buttons for sure. Yeah.
So Or if you'd be like, oh, do you think it's ever going to go away? It's probably going to become obsolete.
No.
Yeah. So I can really respect how passionate you are about it and how it's become almost your identity. Where were you standing when you first heard about solar? Like,
Wow. Where was I standing when I first heard about solar?
now I see how much of an impact it's made on your life. So like
God, it
to
was
me,
so long ago.
I feel like you instantly are gonna be like teleported back to wherever you were.
I'm thinking of it. It's going back there. It would have to be just before the American Family Insurance Building in Madison, their headquarters, which is over a megawatt. I was approached by a solar team from California who happened to have a crew that was basically the whole crew was tied to me in somehow. There's about 10 of them, and they come to me and they're like, "Hey, we're going to be doing this, and we need you on it." I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I want to do it, like, and they're like, "Oh, we got you." So basically, a guy by the name of Tim Martinez, shout out to Tim, who is very well rounded out in solar. I actually used to work with him at TM Electric in Edgerton way back in the day, and then he left to go to California to do solar, and then he come back to Wisconsin. He says, "Let's go," and I'm like, okay. So then that's when I kind of got entrenched into it, and just I was like, wow, this is so cool. You guys are actually giving this much power back to the utility, like an immense amount of power.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's actually able to be generated from this roof. Like free energy from the sun. We can just harness that and use that. And from there, I was just like hooked. Because why wouldn't you be? We're electricians, right?
Yeah.
And where are we getting our power from? The evil grid. Like, no, here's a way around it, right? So I hope that answered your question.
It did. I just wanted an honest answer.
Yep.
See if you could go back to when like you.
I couldn't give you a day, but I would say, and that was probably circa 2010-ish, maybe 2009, somewhere in there.
Dude,
but
I'll
even
give it
before that, you'll like this. Solar Monthly magazine. Yeah, I subscribed to that like when they first started coming out. So I was, at my desk, I'd peel through that and check out inverters and still not really understand all the stuff, but I would self-teach myself a lot of that stuff and just kind of look through it and say, oh, well, that's how it works. So I had a good understanding going in. I just didn't have that dive in and had done it yet. Yep. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I can remember I was standing in my dad's kitchen when I first heard about solar. He was talking about it. He's like, hey, Suburban's thinking about going to do solar. And I was like, that's stupid.
Oh, come on.
I swear to God.
Right. Why is it? Why did you think it was stupid? Take yourself back to that because you thought it was just not there.
I was like, it's cloudy. It's always like, it's never sunny up here in Wisconsin.
Rays goes through clouds.
Hey, dude, I was ignorant.
Right. I get you.
But at the time.
I didn't know that either. I was like, oh, it's cloudy. And they're like, no, it's, you can still make it.
And I just remember thinking like, this is dumb. This is a California, Arizona thing.
Right.
Like, that's going to be a fad.
A lot of people
stay down there.
A lot of people still think that.
I know. I'm trying to bring that to fruition because like I had that stigma. And I was 100% on that train. People would ask me about solar. I'm like, you're dumb. I don't even. You're deleted off my friends list now.
But what about winter?
Yeah.
We don't have sun in the winter. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. Those are like some of the questions, like when people are approaching me with solar or have questions or they're thinking about getting an installation.
Yep.
One of the main questions is that, well, what happens when it snows? Okay, well, what happens when, it's cloudy or,
So, all of that aside, I'm thinking about getting solar.
Okay,
right?
Sweet, let's go.
Yeah. What's my first step?
I would say from my professional standpoint of what your first step is, find someone that's knowledgeable about what they're talking about, not just a door knocker, because we know all those companies that come out from California and they just send out a crew to knock on your door and they're like, get solar, sign this contract, you'll save this much. Find someone that actually knows the answers to your questions, like what's it going to do to my roof? How old's your roof? Can we cover that up? Are we giving you a roof penetration? Are you voiding your warranty on your brand new house that you have a 25-year warranty on your roof, your shingles. Now that we put holes in it, they just voided that warranty. Is that company going to stand behind that? Are they going to say, well, sorry, you lost your warranty and we don't do the roof, we just do the system. So if you have a leak, oops, that's on you. To whoever you're talking to find your solar professional and give them your utility bill. That's what my first step in is, designing a solar system for you. Like if you were to come to me and say, Chris, I'd like to have some solar, I would then ask you for at least a month of your usage in your current situation, your current house. I would like a year's worth, because then I can really tailor it through the seasons of, summer versus winter. Because, if you just toss me a bill you had in November, it's obviously going to be different than the bill you have in, June. So that the first step would be, give me your utility bill. Let's see what you currently are getting robbed from the grid.
100%. So after utilities have been given to you, you've sized the system, and how should that interaction flow?
That interaction should flow. So after I have the information from you, I put that together in a nice little package that includes your warranties, your rebates from the Focus on Energy.
Your warranties? In those warranties, what's pretty common in the industry right now?
Industry standard on warranties is this. Basically, nationwide, you're getting, if you're signing up for solar and you're getting solar, more than likely, you are seeing a 25-year warranty on your labor, your guys, your install, your workmanship. Then you're going to carry the warranties of the solar panels and all the gear. So it'd be like your inverter, your micro inverters, your solar hardware. Those typically are about 10 years to 12 years. Batteries, if you decide to go a storage unit, those are typically 8 years. So basically it's a 25-year warranty limited by your gear, which is usually anywhere from 10 to 12 years. Yep. And then a lot of companies will give, like I told you earlier about the roof penetrations. So when you put solar on your roof, we have to drill into your roof, pending you're getting a roof mount. If the company is offering you a 2-year warranty on those penetrations, you should probably think about it, because you should see a standard of 5-year. If it's not going to leak after 5 years, it's not going to leak. And I think currently we're offering a 10-year, which is the highest in the market.
So then what's it look like for the customer? Do we take care of all the permitting for them?
So basically from the time of inception, you say, Chris, we'd like to have solar. So we get that utility bill. We quote it out. We use Aurora software, which is the leading software for doing estimates on solar building in the residential and commercial. Commercial is a different egg, but for residential. Then usually within a week, we can put together an ideal package for your usage on your home, okay? Once that is presented to you and you say, you know what, we like this. This is definitely for us. Once we are through that gate of, you figuring out if you want to do it or not, once we decide we want to do it, we then get contracts signed and everything and make sure that we're on board on everything. And then we'll go for permitting. So we'll have to contact your utility company and tell them, hey, we're thinking about going solar over here, and we have to apply with the state of Wisconsin for a DG application, which is distributed generation, meaning that you are now going to be a solar generator being able to produce and sell back to that utility company. And that utility company has to know that your facility is up to par. So they're going to want to see it and make sure it follows a certain guideline, okay? So we have to apply for it and make sure that we stay in these guidelines. Then we have to apply with the municipality of wherever we live at, so they can come and inspect it for the NEC stuff. That process alone, going through those gates just for the permitting and applications, could take anywhere from 2 to 3 months. just because they hate it.
Yep.
They hate it. They just don't want you to do this, which should tell you even more why you should do it. Yeah. Because let's face it, they have to buy from you now, and they're not selling to you. So who wants to make that reversal? You know, no one wants to make that reversal. I'd much rather sell it to you than have to buy it from you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and we tailor our systems to net zero. Net zero means like I'm gonna try and nail that utility bill that you have at. Let's just say you're at $250 a month on average for your utility bill. I'm gonna try and get that to zero, and we call that net zero. And I don't like to sell a system unless it's net zero. A lot of these other solar companies will come out and be like, and it's good for certain applications in commercial. Okay. Mm-hmm. So like if you can get their peak usage off, but I'm talking strictly residential at this point, we should be able to get them at net zero. Otherwise it's really not that much worth it. I mean, it still is, you're going to be saving, but let's go for the whole shebang.
Yeah.
You know,
you're totally right.
Yep.
How about the install of it? Like how many days does it take?
So your timeline, I'm following you here. So your timeline, inception, we just waited 2 to 3 months. Let's say it took us the full 3 months. By the time we get that approval, they say, yep, your application is great. The utility system says, hey, your one line looks perfect. Make a few changes here, and then we're good. Once that's perfect, and then they all have to review our plans because we have to submit our plans to these people, and they look and they say, okay, looks good, or let's do a little changes here and there. Once we get all those paperworks approved, from there, once our gear comes in, on any typical system, I pride myself on being able to install in 1 day. However, that's pending your crew size. I usually have 2 on the top, 2 on a roof crew, and 2 on the ground crew. And then when the ground crew will always finish first, that ground crew can then help the roof crew finish up. You're looking at, in any situation, maybe anywhere from 8 to a 10-hour day of just solid install. But at that point, you are installed. It's not done yet. Mm-hmm. You still need to get PTO, which is permission to operate, meaning we built it. Now they have to go back to the plans and look at it and say, okay, did they do it to the plans? And they have to look at it and test it. So the utility company is going to want to come out, and before they fire their electric into your electric, it's got to mesh. It's got to talk together nicely. They'll do those tests on site during the permission to operate. And then once they do that and it passes, then you get PTO, and then you can throw the switch on and run it. So, and that PTO process after the install, which is like a day to 2 days, after the PTO or after that install process, it's about a week to 2 weeks, and it's all depending on the busyness and the readiness of the utility company to come out and do that PTO. Which usually just takes, it's literally them coming and putting a switch on.
Yeah.
So
through that entire process, like, we help with that every step of the way. We're the ones permitting. We're the ones taking care of the communication with the utilities. And that helps alleviate the daunting side of, like, I don't know who to call.
Right.
I don't know what to say to them.
Well,
because I feel like sometimes customers get wound up in that, and they're like, I don't want to look like an idiot on the phone.
I'll tell you this. A little story. This is nuts.
Yeah.
So this guy calls me. He's a prepper. I love that. Be prepared. And he's purchased these solar panels, like just a whole slew of them. And he's like, hey, I got these solar panels, and I got this couple inverters over here, and I just could make it happen. And I drew up my 1-line diagram. This guy went as far as doing all this legwork. Sometimes that's not the best install. Like, you think you can save money doing it yourself. As an electrician, I'm not going to hire an electrician to come do my house. I'm going to do it. But if you're not well versed in solar and you don't know those avenues, I've spent blood, sweat, and tears talking to utility companies. It is not fun, and I know you know that. Getting through those hiccups and knowing what utility companies want what, because each utility company is different. They all have different rules. This guy likes this guy likes that. And they don't play fair, and they're all different rules. As a homeowner, I highly recommend not doing any of that. Let us take care of that for you, because we're trained. We know what to ask for. We know how to get through that system quicker. If you were to do that yourself, add 2 months to it
Yeah.
easily.
So I'm a homeowner. I have a bunch of trees in my yard. They're all shading my house. What do I do?
Okay, so
Dude, you cut them down. I'm just kidding.
you could, you could, or you could just put your solar on it in fall because then there's no leaves and you're good to go. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm kidding. No, yes, you can do some limbing, or you can do a ground mount, or you can, find different. Well, Aurora really helps me do that LiDAR.
Yep.
So it'll tell me if you're gonna be. You could put solar up with trees that are gonna shade it. A lot of people think, oh, we can't do it. You can, but you're gonna need a lot more panels to get that net zero that we're looking for. So that's going to increase your cost, and then it's just going to make the payoff time a lot longer than your 6 to 5 to 8 years or whatever you're paying on it.
Yeah, and Aurora is coming like a long ways. Like you can see all of the shading inside of it, and
so
it's
cool.
iridescence, right?
Yep. Irradiance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like you can see the intensity of the sun showing on top of the rooftop, and you can almost to like a shingle calculate how much energy you're going to obtain.
So just by moving a panel, like if there's a chimney in the way, and I didn't forecast that, the LiDAR will pick that up and show a patch where it's not getting it. So I can simply adjust it over.
Yep.
By moving that solar panel a foot, I just went from, let's say 40% efficiency to 90.
Yep.
Just by moving it a foot. And this tells me that. So that's how we're able to calculate the best value for the customer.
Yeah.
Instead of just stacking them up, you can get anyone with a net zero. Just give them 1,000 panels. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to hammer it to make it affordable for the customer.
Yeah. And like you had touched on, there's all that stigma that like, hey, it's not affordable. Hey, this stuff is going to continue to get better. And like, I think the industry.
I can't take those. I can't take it anymore. I can't take those. I don't take those. It's not affordable. It's not affordable. You already pay monthly hundreds of dollars that gets you zero ROI. Zero. You'll never see it again. It's gone forever, and you just pay it like this. You have a chance to get rid of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that can go away. You could save, and once you utilize that $250 towards your new loan for your solar, some point that loan gets paid off. And we're talking about a small car. A small car. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about a big SUV. I'm talking about a small, like a used Equinox or something. I mean, people can afford this.
Yeah.
And the government's making it easier.
Yeah.
And the price since 2010, solar panels and equipment have dropped 80% in price.
Yep.
80%.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's coming down, and
their efficiency is going up.
It's going up, right?
I know, it's been gnarly.
When I first started installing a panel at 190 watts, we're like, yeah, those are cool, and it's like, wow. Now we're looking at 410s, 420s, 420, 430s. It's like, whoa, yeah, for the same size panel, which is incredible.
It's been. Well, you are super passionate about this, and I feel like you have given us a really good understanding of what kind of is involved in a solar install.
Sure.
And can solar farms cause cancer?
I've been waiting for this one. I am not a scientist, okay? So we'll go there. We're going there. So can solar farms cause cancer? I suppose known to the state of California, because everything known to the state of California causes cancer, right? Have you ever seen those tags?
Yeah.
Everywhere. No, as far as I know, and I'm not a professional on this, so you can't take me for like 100% fact, but solar works like a microwave on a really small scale. And just being around them and touching them, we're talking about silica, so sand, copper. The only thing in the solar construction of solar panels themselves that could actually harm you would be the lead soldering joints, but those are covered in glass, so you can't really get at them. As far as when they're being in use, so like if you're walking through a solar field, right, you're not just going to just collect all this 5G and just melt. Okay. It's absorbing itself and turning it into energy and running it down a pathway that's provided. It would be equivalent to standing next to your microwave when it was on. Or, you know, it's not going to give you cancer because it's concealed and taken care of. The only thing I could see that could maybe harm you, and I'm going on a limb, would be the communications part of it. And everybody has that stigmata of the 5G stuff. So if you're transmitting on that, it would be, okay, now you're standing next to your microwave using your cell phone. It's no different than that.
Yeah.
So get rid of that. Boom. Out the dope.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and explain it for people. And you've educated me a little bit just sitting here. And I'm super appreciative how passionate you are, because I enjoy solar. I have a little bit of a passion for it now.
Yeah.
But it's not my niche the way it is with you.
Everybody should be passionate about it.
You have a pride in joy in it
I
that
do.
is like next to none.
I do.
And anybody who ever wishes to talk to him about solar,
Please.
better schedule at least an hour.
It's what I tell everyone. I'd say 45 minutes, but it's going to be an hour because I know you're going to have questions, and I love giving in-depth answers on it. I do. I do. So,
well, thank you for taking the time.
you bet. Thank you. Awesome.